Hi guys, how's everyone? I just want to share a story today. I feel like I've shared the story before, but I think I posted on my blog, but I feel like sharing it again because it's very timely with our Lenten season. So yeah, my story goes something like this. So somewhere around October last year, I decided to fly to South Island to make my dream of seeing a whale in flesh happen. But before the trip, there's already a challenge. The whale watch tour depends on the weather, of course. And if you live in New Zealand, you know how shitty our weather is. But yeah, knowing disappointment and failure rest on my hands, I still took the risk. So every day I visit Met Service, checking the weather forecast in South Island, praying that the expected sunshine on the day of our tour wouldn't change. But the forecast fluctuated eventually, and I noticed that as I get closer to my flight, the forecast gets worse as well. As sunshine shifted to heavy rain, my enthusiasm was also replaced by worries and anxiety. I wanted to make it happen so bad that I wanted everything to go my way. My way. But after a while, it finally dawned on me that maybe this was a test of faith. This wasn't an instant decision, but despite the worries in my heart, I decided to let go and let God. I realized this was beyond my control, and I just had to let Him take over and to let His will be done. The night before our scheduled tour, I decided to check the forecast one last time. Heavy rain with expected thunderstorm. But still, I kept my faith. Lord, if this is your will, then so be it. I said to Him before I closed my eyes to sleep. And the morning I've long waited finally came. Alright, moment of truth, I said to myself. We're greeted by our lovely tour guide Steve, who also happens to be a highlight of this trip. So even he didn't know what's going to happen that day because the weather was unpredictable. But our tour guide Steve said there's a chance of clearing later that day. So I hold on to that. We've encountered a lot of raindrops along the way, but I could see the sun was fighting against the dark gray sky, and I feel like that was God acting on my behalf. So there was a smile on my face and bliss in my heart, and I was just so positive that I'm gonna see a whale that day. So an overcast Kikura horizon welcomed us after a 3-hour land travel. The sea was calm, and later on the sun was peeking through, and then our tour guide said, "We've got the perfect weather today." And I was so happy. Then after strolling around Kaikoura, we finally went to the whale watch base. And the very first thing I've seen upon entering the whale watch base was the word cancelled. So all the sailings scheduled on that day were cancelled. Not because of the weather, but because of the whales. Apparently they're all outside their sailing areas and they're nowhere to be seen. All the previous flights on that day were all unsuccessful, so almost everyone in the room opted the refund. I asked my kuya to help me decide, but he still gave me the last word. In between decision making, I don't know, it was very random, but there's a line from my life song, which is One Republic's Live, suddenly popped into my head. Hope if everybody runs, you choose to stay. So that particular line, hope if everybody runs, you choose to stay. And it was on repeat in my head. So I took it as a sign. So we said yes to flying even with no guarantee, risking more than $300 of hard-earned money. I think I'm very fortunate because I'm with Kuya. He's just a great support system. So we both remain positive in our minds, and in our hearts we claim that we're going to see the gentle giant on that day. So the world gave us all the reasons not to go, but my heart has always been saying go. And I didn't want to leave Kaikoura without giving my all. I said to myself, if I failed to see one that day, at least I did everything to make it happen. Before we hopped on our propeller plane, I have a quick word to God. I said, Lord, let your will be done. We've only got 30 minutes to find a whale. So 5 minutes have passed, 10 minutes have passed and still there's no sign of whale. Our time was running and at the moment I decided to pray again. Lord, isa lang. Lord, kahit isa lang po. Just to make this trip worth it. Then a few moments later, our pilot pointed to his right and said, "Sperm whale!" Then I looked down, and there I found another manifestation of God's grace in my life. A gentle giant swimming gracefully on the open water, clueless how his presence made someone's dream come true. An answered prayer right before my very eyes. He was beautiful. I started crying like a child, joyful tears all over my face. It was a very magical moment. For the first time, I put down my camera and allowed myself to just enjoy the beauty of God's blessing and just live in that moment. Before we landed, the rain started pouring like crazy. The sun was finally defeated by the dark clouds, but not us. Our fate made us the real winners of the day. And you know what, looking back, this trip was not just about taking risks, making things happen, and crossing a dream off the bucket list. This whole trip was a story of faith. Accepting his ways are far bigger and better than mine, believing that impossible could be possible, and learning to surrender to his bigger plans. It was a journey, a beautiful one. Before, I don't have a specific reason why I love whales. Maybe because they migrate from coast to coast and I love traveling, but now I do. For me, whales are perfect reminders for me to be humble. They're known as the biggest animal in the world. They are giants, but still they remain gentle. And maybe this is what God wanted me to learn during this whole trip. Humility. Knowing that there is always someone greater than I. Have a blessed Holy Week.